Skoden.
All right, looks like it's working now. Good. Just go to Twitch and double check, make sure the stream's working.
Refresh it.
Oh, no, we're good.
Yep, looks like we're on. Yep.
We're good?
Cool.
Perf.
All right, what's up, everybody? Once again, after some technical difficulties again, I'm still 30-something episodes into regular Velocity Entertainment and 2 into movies and review. I still have my fair share of
Boo-boos.
technical mess-ups, goofs, but this is Velocity Movies and Review, where we are finally doing the second episode of The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. Like I said, Mike has been trying to die on us for a month now? Just kidding.
No, you're right. First you got the COVID. Now he's just really just trying to die.
I think you guys
in
are just
general.
giving me diseases with your raw pork chops and...
You know, maybe you just don't have a strong bloodline and you deserve to die.
Probably.
Okay.
Did you try to boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew? Because then I wouldn't have died.
I did none of
Potatoes.
that. Potatoes!
I just gave you raw meat.
Like taking a bite out of a fish.
Ugh.
We need a few good taters.
Taters. What's taters, precious?
But no, it's been pretty hectic over the holidays. So we forgive Mike. We hope that everybody else would forgive all of us for...
I suppose we hope he gets better too.
I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
Jeez.
Mike dies during this show. We are in search of a new co-host. Just
Yes.
remember that.
I will say, though, we definitely aren't not against people coming on the show and talking with us. If there's... Even if it's not The Lord of the Rings, we were debating on what movie series we should do next. We were thinking maybe Pirates of the Caribbean would be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe Harry Potter's would be fun.
Yep. Troy.
We can do just a Troy where we just shit on Troy like an hour and a
I was
half.
about to say, real talk, can we do some really bad movies like The Room?
I think that
And,
would be fun.
I think we should.
Review some bad movies
If you've heard of The
occasionally.
Room, it's like one of the worst movies.
With these ones that we're doing, they're like series though, where we're breaking them into parts though. Yeah, we should definitely start bringing some people on though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
there's
I
gonna
like
be
it.
a whole lot of nerd people. that
And
are
then there's
like,
stuff that comes out like Soul. Soul would have been fun to go through and review.
Yeah.
Still could. Yeah, so I mean, if there's a movie that you really like, let us know. Or even if you don't want to be on the podcast, just let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Because there's really not a lot that we don't like. So,
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, Part 2, Extended Edition.
Part dose.
What are your guys' just initial thoughts about, because we rewatched it again, this is kind of the half where everything kind of kicks off
Yeah,
and we get a
all
lot of
the
cool
action.
stuff. So
Okay.
this is definitely like the cooler of the two halves of the movie.
First half was important.
Yes.
Set everything up.
Yep.
Unless we're going to do this for 7 hours tonight, we're not going to be able to talk about each individual event that leads to the end of the movie because we're just leaving Rivendell.
Yeah.
We are just about to walk out of Rivendell. This whole journey is getting started.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Oh no, I was joking about the amount of detail that we could go into
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
because it gets to be a lot.
So we left off in our last episode. Frodo has volunteered to take the ring to Mordor.
And Gandalf looks so disappointed.
Yep. Again, that acting has transpired really well through Ian McKellen. He's a good actor. After this scene, immediately, Frodo's with Bilbo, right?
Yeah. Best part.
This is the part that we didn't want to talk about last week, and I was like, that's good because we're jumping the gun. My old sword, Sting. Here we get to see Sting again for the
Beautiful
well
sword.
for the first time, but I guess for the first time since The Hobbit. Technically. In the
Can I say
timeline.
a quick side note?
Yeah.
At me and Anna's wedding, we will be cutting the cake with Sting. We will.
Yep, we're gonna live stream it too.
Yeah.
Just that part.
I'm not even joking. We have a replica. We have a replica of Sting.
No, dude, I'm so excited. That's awesome.
What are you going to do if you go to cut your cake and then all of a sudden Sting starts glowing blue?
That we're,
I had,
you guys better have your swords with.
I had my buddy Logan. Shout out to Logan. He stumped the boys on the 100 questions episode with
Oh
Arctic.
yeah, that guy. Fuck you, Logan.
Yeah.
He cut his sword with a Marine Corps saber.
Oh.
He's in the Marine Corps, and
Oh yeah.
and he at his wedding he cut it with the saber. That
Oh,
was
that's
really
cool.
funny.
That's cool.
Was it messy?
I mean, about what you'd expect cutting a
Yeah.
cake with a sword.
Yeah.
The sword was certainly messy.
I believe it.
Love it. Love it.
Oh man, so yeah, this is the part where he gives him mithril as well, the chainmail worth lots and lots of dough.
Worth more than
Isn't
the
it-
whole Shire.
Isn't it basically like diamond steel? It's the way they like describe it.
Yeah,
now.
they
It's like-
describe.
It's like because it's like diamond, but it's something that they learn how to work into like
Yeah.
chain link.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas diamonds you can't really
Yeah,
make
exactly.
into armor.
Right. Yes, and he goes to put it on, and of course we get the flash of the ring, and Bilbo's like, "Oh, hey, it's my old ring. I like that. I would like to." Which
Yeah, for as many times as I see that movie, I literally like every time I come, I like grab something next to me, and I like squeeze it, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna jump. I know I'm gonna jump every time. I know it's coming, and I still jump.
Yeah. Right.
every time, man. Part used to downright scare me when I was younger. I was like, I don't want to watch.
Anna
this
wasn't
part.
there to hold me. None of you held me. I was
I
kind
don't
of
want.
disappointed.
I don't want to watch this part. Fast forward.
I made the note that at that point, Frodo was the richest man in all Middle Earth. He
Yeah.
has a full thing of mithril. He has Sting and the ring. Like he's so rich.
I mean, yeah, he keeps those things all the way to the end, though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he loses.
What if he's just a dirtbag and he goes and sells it when he leaves everyone?
He loses the mithril when he gets to Mordor, though. Forgot
Oh,
about that.
yeah, that's right. Because the
They catch him. And,
Yeah. spoilers.
All right, guys. It's been like 16 years. If you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings yet,
Yeah. Grow up.
why are you watching this? For one,
Grow up. Stop being a coward.
where am I at here?
Oh,
Oh yeah, he's like, he apologizes. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Sorry I brought this upon you. It's a real touching.
Yeah.
You can see that he's feels real bad for laying this burden on Frodo.
Bilbo held that burden forever, though. I mean, hobbits just
Did
must be
60
pure
years.
pure of heart. You know, that's like their thing.
That's what I said. Yeah, their resiliency to it because they're so
Yeah.
pure in what they do.
Nope. And then we leave Rivendell, and we get a.
Oh, good question, Chad.
That's a pretty good question.
So Chad has asked if we think this movie would hold up in 2021. I tried to get my son to watch it, but this generation has no attention.
We were
span.
just saying that the first half of the first movie, somebody with no attention span couldn't. But we love it because we love the lore.
That's the thing. Is like I have a hard time getting Tyson to sit through anything but when it's
So
like
I feel
battle
like
scene stuff,
if
but-
your kid or your wife or kids or whoever it be that you want to introduce this to, if they have a short attention span, I feel like you know that. I would try something like smaller to chew on to begin with. Maybe like
the actual cartoon versions of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit both would be excellent choices, though.
that would be a good idea.
You
Also,
also
the
start there and you can get them into the storyline. Then you can be like, "This is the new ones."
Right.
Also, the Hobbit itself was kind of made for a younger, less
Yeah.
attention span audience.
Definitely a lot
Yes,
more
sir.
Yeah.
flashy stuff.
But yeah, no, I think it holds up for sure. Like if you have somebody, if you have like kids that are into this fantasy adventure stuff,
Yeah.
I think as far as stories, graphics, CGI, all of that, I think it holds up great.
The CGI still holds up to this day.
But it is,
which
but
is
they are,
crazy.
yeah.
You think about it, like I can't remember who released the list. It was like top 100 movies ever, and all 3 Lord of the Rings movies were in the top 20.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think Return of the King was like 2.
So yeah, to answer the question, I think it holds up extremely well. I think it just depends on
The audience.
your attention span of the audience and whatnot. Good question, Chad. So we leave Rivendell. I also really like this
cute
scene
little thing,
when he
yeah.
let the ring bearer lead, and he walks out and he's like, is it left or right, Gandalf?
Left.
Let the ring bear.
Real funny scene.
Wasn't
man.
that an extended scene?
That was an extended scene.
That is an extended scene,
Yeah.
yes. Which, awesome. I think I love that extended scene.
I like
To
that
death. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's a good addition to the one.
And if you're not watching the extended scenes, we can't talk to you.
Yeah. They've also been out for like 10 years now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they have. So we go long ways over mountains, we're walking. And we're walking. Over plains and hillsides, there's a lot.
They had to just show New Zealand in all of its beauty.
Yes, we stop on the middle of the hill where,
Having some lunch
Frodo.
and some sword lessons, I think.
yeah, we talked about this too once we get to like the octopus. But like Frodo, slips and falls and the ring falls off of his neck. Boromir picks it up. And I I like this part because, like,
Oh, this is when they're walking through the snow, right?
right.
Okay.
I think we're here.
I guess it doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Well, because is this before or after the sword fighting?
Well,
was gonna say, 'cause
I thought
think
it was after.
I think it was a sword fight, and then he's like, this passage being watched, we have to choose another one, and then Frodo's like, we take the mountain pass, and that's when we
and
go
Gimli's like, I'd say we go through the mines of Moria, and he's like, and Gandalf is like, I would rather not.
The sword
If
fighting
we
was
can
the good
avoid it.
bonding moment between like Boromir, Aragorn, the hobbits,
yeah.
like bonding.
Because is that in the theatrical?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep, all that's in there. Yep.
Same with
Yes, because that's character building for Boromir.
We don't. I don't think from where we're at right now, we don't get any more extended scenes until you almost get to meet the Balrog.
Yeah.
Right. The next one is in the mines because the one where he talks about Mithril being expensive is added.
Yep.
So, this is important for Boromir because it shows us that Boromir is not a bad guy.
No.
He's not. He's a likable.
The ring is just powerful.
Yes, it's a very powerful ring, and this is where we get the first glimpse
Men
of.
are weak.
Yes, and then we get the glimpse of how strong it is and how it can corrupt so quickly. But yes, we get the Mines of Moria line. Gandalf says, I would not take the roads through Moria unless I had no choice, because he knows what's in those mines.
Khazad-dûm.
The Bridge of Khazad-dûm.
That's where we go.
That octopus fight was pretty sick, though. Legolas carried, as he usually does, by just shooting arrows into it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is chopping off tentacles.
And also, per usual, the whole reason the thing came out is because Merry and Pippin were throwing frickin' rocks in the water.
Merry and Pippin.
Thanks for ruining that for us, guys.
If it weren't for all the good they do in the second movie,
Second and third movie?
yeah, I swear.
So yeah, here we get the flock of, what is it, Caradine or whatever?
Caradine.
Oh, yeah.
Carabrane.
Yep.
Carabane. From Duneland.
Yeah.
And they scatter, put out the fire, hide. So they're like, we can't go this way.
I know Duneland in like the books, isn't it like a place where like savages basically live? Like
Basically.
they're like barbarians and they kind of pledge their allegiance to Sauron.
They're like the Wildmen. in
yeah,
the
they're like
Westfold.
yeah. In Game of Thrones, they'd be like the North Wildmen.
So yes, that's the reason we have to take the pass now.
Also, something I just kind of, I think it's because I was thinking about it more this time than I watched it because I was kind of planning for this, but I think in my head this whole time I'm like, oh, the birds go past and then they just kind of go back or whatever, and they're like, oh, okay, we can keep going now. But I just realized like the reason they stopped right over top of them and turned around is because they actually saw everybody.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That didn't click with me the first couple times I seen.
I feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's never explicitly
They
said.
go back and tell.
Well, they go back
Saruman.
and tell Saruman. So
Yeah, and Saruman's like, oh, they're going over the northern pass, and that's when
Yes,
we'll
that's
get to
when
that.
the mountains, yep.
Yeah, which we realize then that Saruman is way more powerful than Gandalf at this moment.
Yes, yep.
because Gandalf's trying to like stop his spells with his own spells, and it's not working at all. And
Not
then
strong enough.
The snow comes down.
Yeah, so now we get the scene where they're climbing up in the snow
Yes.
towards the pass, and Frodo loses his footing, rolls backwards towards Aragon, and Aragon.
I'm gonna do that like
Never.
five times. I'm gonna do it like 5 more
Yeah,
times. Dude.
fair enough.
remake Aragon.
Sign the petition.
Loses the ring after just a couple of little rolls. We'll get to more of this later, but that ring fell right off immediately. Boromir picks it up. It's strange fate. We should suffer so much fear and doubt over such a small thing, such a little thing. Oh,
Don't do it, Kyle. Don't put it on. The race will know where we are.
I can't.
The race will know.
You gotta do that. You gotta do like the Frodo eye thing, where he's like, ugh, before he puts it on.
I did it in the last episode. I don't know if you noticed
didn't
it,
see it,
but
no.
you guys were talking.
You know what's funny?
And just out of nowhere, I'm like,
The other day, I threw mine up like 5 times trying to catch it on my finger. It didn't work.
Yeah.
Of course it didn't.
I think it's implied that that's because the ring is
it's like-
is powerful enough to want to be found.
It wants to be put on.
So the thing I like about this Boromir scene is that Aragorn's like, give the ring to Frodo, dude. But like his hands on his sword,
the
dude.
whole time, yeah.
He's ready to body Boromir if he needs to.
But you know,
like,
they also kind of have a thing, Boromir and Aragorn,
Right.
Because they're butting heads.
Oh, yeah, of
Because
course.
Boromir's like, we don't need a king. We don't
Yeah.
need you to return.
My dad's the steward. My dad runs Gondor.
Yeah.
You don't.
They're kind of butting heads the whole time.
Can I just say though, how cool would it have been if Boromir did take the ring at some point by force, and you got to get that fight scene between him and Aragorn?
Oh, that'd be
How
sick.
awesome would a fight scene would that have been?
That'd be a sick fight scene.
yeah, yes. I don't know. I just don't really think I would have liked that.
It would have hurt us. But
It
it would
would've
have
hurt.
But it would have been entertaining.
Yeah.
It would have hurt, yes.
Who would have hurt us all?
I think it was better the way.
But
Of course
played
it
out.
was.
do you realize Aragorn actually has a resilience to the ring too? Because he's, when
Right.
Oh, we'll get to that later. But when Frodo offers it to him,
Right.
he's like, no.
Well, he's also
Yeah, he's able to.
he's also of the blood of Isildur, which is
True.
weak.
We just we
True.
Weak sauce.
True.
should have been pushing the ladder.
So now, yes, while we're on the past, we start hearing some rumbling and some chanting, and they're like, "What the heck is this?"
Oh, this is also when Legolas is walking on top of the snow.
On top of the
while
snow.
everybody else is going
Nice,
through
nice
it.
little detail to show how light elves are.
Yeah.
Everybody's trudging through this.
They should have just sent an army of elves. What was this whole? Gimli's like in the bottom of the snow. His head isn't even like above it.
Yeah, you just see his helmet.
Just-
So Saruman says, "Yes, if the pass fails, where then will you go? If the mountain defeats you, will you risk a more dangerous road?"
The answer is yes.
Before we start getting the chance, and the mountain begins to wake up. You know,
Tries to
we're
bring
on
him down.
we're on a rap battle of chanting between
Yeah.
Gandalf and Saruman. Lost old Curtis Sando.
Wizard Rap Battle 2020.
Wizard Rap Battle 2020,
Oh, boy.
2002.
Yeah.
whenever it came out.
Just need Kyle to cut the audio out and put a beat behind it now.
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
yes, we get a snatch of lightning and the avalanche, which forces everybody down.
and you realize gray wizards are not as powerful as white wizards.
Exactly. The snow buries them all, and after a moment, they all kind of pop up and get out of the snow. Boromir immediately is like, "We must get off the mountain, make for the Gap of Rohan, and take the west road to my city."
It
Or
takes
we're
us
like,
too close to Isengard.
Too close to Isengard. Can't
Yeah.
do that. We cannot pass over a mountain. Let us go under it, says Gimli, through the mines of Moria.
If only they knew about some walking trees that could have helped when they got close to Isengard, but they didn't know.
Through the mines of Moria, he says.
But Moria's sick, so I'm glad.
But here we get Saruman reading a little passage in the book of a lore book where he says, "Moria, you fear to go in those mines. The dwarves delve too greedily and too deep. You know what they awoke in the darkness of Khazad-dûm.
Dude, that part's sick.
Shadow and flame."
I like that you see the picture of it in the book too, but you don't see what it is. You just
Yeah.
see the eyes and the
I
flames.
was so
in the
freaked
back.
out as a kid. I'm like, what did the dwarves awake?
What did they wake up? What did they wake up?
What did
Tell it
happen?
to go back to sleep.
Did they sing a lullaby? What they?
It was more so in the book for me when I was reading it.
Oh, really?
I was like, I wonder what it is. Because by the time I saw the movies, I
Yeah.
already read the
Well,
Fellowship.
you kind of
so I was like,
explained-
I want to see Durin's Bane real bad.
You explain to me better what it is. Well, we can get to that when we get to that.
Right.
But you'll have to explain to the video when we get there.
Yep.
But yeah, we're bickering for a bit. We should go to Gondor. We should head towards Gondor. We should head wherever under Moria. Let the ring bearer decide. Gandalf says.
Let's go back to the Shire, regroup, take a couple days off, and just clear our heads, okay, guys?
Boromir the whole time is just like, let's just bring this to Gondor and use it as a weapon.
Yeah, the whole time.
It's
he-
like,
that's
didn't
what
we
he's
all
wanted
tell you
to
it
do.
can't be wielded as a weapon?
Because he's a big stupid head. So here we get to.
Yes,
He
Frodo.
says, let the ring bearer
Yep,
decide.
Frodo makes the decision to
Yep.
go through the mines.
Yep.
Again, we get Gandalf and Sir Ian McKellen in that awesome, just like wordless acting that he's so good at.
Yeah,
when he's
right.
just like, oh,
So be it.
why?
I think you mean Count Dooku and Magneto.
So be it. We get to the walls of Moria.
So, but yeah, before we get any further, I have a question. 'Cause
Yes.
In Moria, when did that all happen? Because Gimli for a while now has thought that, my family still lives there. Let's go there. Like, when did it happen that nobody knows that it's like that yet, except for Gandalf?
Here's the thing: the trek to Rivendell and then the trek back to the Mines of Moria would probably take about a couple months. Maybe it happened in that time period.
Could be. I just always wondered. I'm like, it seemed like Gandalf was the only one who knew. Everybody else was like, yeah.
Well, because there's straight up skeletons in there.
Yeah.
Well, then
Oh,
again,
those- yeah.
then again, Gimli doesn't come from Moria. That's where his family is. But
No,
he,
Gimli's.
Right. So Gimli might know that they were there at one point,
yeah,
but it could have been, years. Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously,
It
it
looks
was
like-
years.
obviously it's been years.
Because you get in there, it's a boneyard. Everything's
Yeah, Michael, why are you still wearing your coat?
I is
he's cold.
cold and
I
wussy.
is cold.
Such a Boromir thing to say.
Such a Boromir. Boromir's always wearing his coat, if you notice.
Yeah, if you notice. So yeah, and then we get to
So we get to the west gates of Moria, and
what a pretty gate, by the way.
Yeah, true.
When the moonlight hits it and that thing lights up, that is pretty, dude.
They kind of redo that in The Hobbit a little bit, but anyway, we watch The Hobbit for that.
the door reads, "The doors of Durin, Lord of Moria, speak friend and enter." What do you suppose that means? It's quite simple. If you're a friend,
it means
speak the password and the doors will open.
It means Gandalf is going through every password that
Yeah.
he thinks he knows forever and realizes he's like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
And then we pop over to Sam, who's
Letting Bill
letting Bill the pony go,
Sad.
Bill the
aka
pony.
the best character in the entire franchise.
By the way, definitely gets eaten by wargs on that. I'm just kidding.
I think in the Lord of the Rings massive multiplayer online game.
Oh yeah,
I
I played that.
I think there's a point in the game where you can pass over the mines because it runs parallel to the
Yeah.
Fellowship. Mm-hmm. I think there's a point where you can run past the mines and you'll see Bill being attacked by like wargs, and you can go and help Bill the pony
No.
kill the wargs, and then he'll go off and continue on his way. I heard that. I never played it, but
Oh man. So yeah, also after we cut back, before they figure out, it's a riddle, speak friend and enter, whatever, you also get that little cut scene of them throwing rocks out into the water, and he grabs him, he's like, don't disturb the water. And then that's when Frodo goes, what's the Elvish word for friend? Elvish.
Yep. Battle.
mellow,
It's
Melon.
Bellalong.
mellow,
Oh, I say it wrong.
like melon, but with 2 L's.
I always thought it was Belloc.
I thought it was a B too, but I'm reading right here that it's an M.
Oh.
Mellow.
Maybe Sir Ian McKellen just speaks wrong.
Don't you dare say that about him. Ever say that about him.
And it works, man. The door flies open, man.
Yep. They get in, it's a little dark.
It is.
Let's light this place up a little bit. And they do, and skeletons.
It's a mine.
It's a tomb.
This is no mine. This is a tomb. We see everybody's dead. Gimli's upset. No, freaking out.
Yeah, it had to have been years since he had been there last year, right?
Years, dude.
Yeah.
Here we get Legolas ripping that arrow out of the door.
goblins.
Goblins. Yeah.
Yep.
Boromir, of course, says we should make for the Gap of Rohan. We should have never come here. Always wanting to get out to Rohan, get towards the White City.
Yep.
Yeah.
And half the time, sometimes he doesn't even say Gondor, he just says Rohan. I'm like, yeah, we get it. You want to get back to the world of men, and you want to stay away from all this other stuff,
Right.
the elves, the dwarf, everything. Like, you just want to get back to where men are
I will
predominantly that.
I will see the ring nowhere near your city, or whatever he says later. We'll get to it. But
Yep.
before we can get inside the mines, this creature is called the Watcher in the Water. Is the technical name for this creature.
They don't technically kill it either.
No, they don't. They grabs Frodo, pulls him back. We get all of this.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yep. So we got Frodo hanging upside down for 10 freaking minutes, doesn't lose the ring.
Never, not once, pops off of his neck.
No.
That's because the ring wants to stay with its owner.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But in the snow, one little roll.
One little roll and it comes off.
One
Yeah.
little roll.
And it wasn't even like he went upside down. It was like a sideways roll. And now he's hanging completely
But
upside
now
down.
he's like whipping
But
him
you see,
around.
that's because the ring wanted to go to Boromir. The ring wanted a new host. I'm making
I was
sense.
gonna say, it
the
doesn't
ring
wanna-
didn't want to go to the Watcher in the water.
Or while
Watch
he's
his
swinging
water
around,
speed.
have it pop off and fly at Boromir.
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, this guy's wide open. Catch.
Boromir accidentally catches it right on his finger. Oh no! Shoot! And
he's
it's
gone.
on my hand.
I don't know.
That happens, he's making for the Gap of Rohan, I can tell you that.
He's catching up to Bill, and he's out of there.
And he's out. Bill, and catching up to
So he
Bill.
catches up to Bill, hops on Bill, and he is out of there.
And Bill immediately turns into one of the wraith horses.
Yep.
With the red eyes.
So this is crazy. Everybody's shooting arrows. People are swinging at it. We're all trying to get off. Gandalf screams, "Into the mines! Let's go!" We have no choice to face the long dark of Moria.
Well, once they get away from it, and it rips the wall down, they can't
Yes.
they can't get back.
Yep,
down.
they cannot get back out. But yes, the long dark of Moria. Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things here than orcs in the deep places of the world. And right there, I'd have just looked at him and I'd been like, "The f you talking about,
Yeah,
Gandalf?"
yeah. Hey, can you please tell us what exactly you mean?
Like, not at one point did he's like, "Yeah, it's a Balrog," you know.
Yeah. When is he going
And
to
they're all just cool with it. They're like, "Oh, cool, ancient evil." that is very shrouded in mystery.
You ever
that
seen, like,
seem to know a lot about, but won't tell us.
You ever seen a real big thing with like made of rock, but it's got like devil wings and a fire sword? You've never seen that? Ah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
It'll kill a whole army by
We'll be
itself.
okay.
Oh man.
This is also where we get to meet. They're going. He kind of stops. And he's like, I don't remember the way anymore. This place is unfamiliar to me, and this is where we get to see Gollum for the first time.
Oh, true.
Yes.
Yep, we see Gollum.
Yes, he's been following us for some time.
And Gandalf knew the whole time. Gandalf's like, yeah.
The amount of things that he leaves out from the group is now starting to piss me off.
It is.
We're being followed by
this point-
Gollum, who could just kill us in our sleep.
At this point, I just wish this guy would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Ugh.
take a fall, dude.
Me
Like,
too. I wonder what
jeez.
happens next.
I love the point where Frodo's like, so he escaped, and then Gandalf's like, escaped or was let.
Or was let loose.
Yep.
I love that part.
Yep, Gollum had been following them for 3 days. Smeagol. That was
he
his
does.
name.
That's the first.
That's the first time we learned Gollum's name is Smeagol.
Which is weird because that was a cutscene too.
Yes.
So then later, we'll get to that later, obviously. But then when Frodo tells him his name later in the series, he's like, "Oh, I'm trying to remember. Where do I know you from? Where do I know this name?" And then he's like, oh, "Smeagol," and then both of their eyes light up, and I'm like, "Why was that cut out of the first movie?" Because
Right.
otherwise, how else would have Frodo known about it? We have no knowledge of how Frodo knows that that's his actual name.
Right. Yep.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So that shouldn't have been cut. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Gollum hates and loves the ring as he hates and loves himself. He will never be rid of his need for it. Which Frodo is like, yeah, well, Bilbo should have bodied him when he had the chance. Word for word, that's what he says in the movie.
Yeah. Like, why didn't he bring out his 9mm and just bust a cap in him?
Bilbo.
Gandalf, answer me that.
Bilbo's usually carrying around a 9mm. Yeah.
Usually.
He has Mithril and all these magical swords.
I like Gandalf's whole like exposition here, where he's like, "Pity. It was a pity that stayed
Stayed
Bilbo's
his hand.
hand. Yep. Many that live deserve death, and some that die deserve life. Can you give it to them, Frodo? Do not be too eager to deal out death in judgment. Even the very wise cannot see all ends. My heart tells me that Gollum has some part to play yet, for good or ill.
Which
Before
he
this
does.
is over, the pity of Bilbo may rule the fate of many." Which is
Spoiler.
Spoilers.
spoiler. It makes a difference, but I really like that. Yes, one choice Bilbo made affects the entire world.
Yeah.
And with that being said, the next movie we're going to review is The Butterfly Effect.
That's right.
Watch us like freak out trying to figure out this movie.
Yeah.
Gandalf says this way. He's like, he remembers. He's like, nope, it just doesn't smell quite so crappy down this way. So let's try
The air
this.
is less foul down
Yeah.
here.
Air is less foul.
Also, the air was Gollum.
Yeah, true.
Um,
That mine must have stank really bad with all those dead bodies.
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
here we see the big dwarf city of what is it, Dwaro Dwelf, right?
Something like that.
Dwallandin.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Big stone pillars, crypts. It's pretty awesome. I mean,
It is.
it's a sight to behold for
Well,
sure.
the dwarves are the masters at that. Yeah.
Wish we would have gotten to see that city. Like I said, again, I was like, when did this happen? When did this place go down? I wish we could have seen it in all of its full glory with like that whole place lit up with torches.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. We don't get it in The Hobbit, and we don't get it in this show.
Yeah,
so
screw
it kind of sucks.
Yeah, the Dwarven Mines are in that massive online player game. Those were my favorite. Was the Dwarven Mines? So beautiful.
Right. So now we head into the crypt where we find Durin, Lord of Moria.
Sad.
This is a sad part. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Gimli overacts here again.
His cry is so beautiful. Yeah, he has a beautiful cry. Really.
Everybody's like, "Hey, we might die in this place," and he's like, "Rah, rah."
No.
Pretty much.
Just want to see my face when I was crying again. We get the stone tablet or the writing that the dwarf scribe wrote down as the orcs were attacking, and then
goblins. How dare you?
oh, goblins, yeah, whatever, fight me.
There's a tiny difference. There's a
Corrupted elves.
yeah.
Well, we know what the difference is when you mix them together.
Yeah.
the
They
big
get
thing-
they get huge.
The big thing about this letter is that there were drums. When the goblins were attacking, they attacked with drums.
Drums in the deep is what he said.
Yep, which is relevant, and it was actually scary for like the next part of the scene
Yeah.
for me. But here we get,
A fool of a took. We get a fool of a took is what we get.
Pippin messes with a skeleton over a well, drops it in. Huge loud noises. Everybody's like,
In his defense, he didn't like push the thing in. He just goes up and he's like, "Oh, this is a cool
he
freaking
twists
arrow."
an
Just
arrow.
twist it, and then head falls, body falls, bucket falls.
Also, how did somebody die just sitting on the... Like, somebody got hit with an arrow and sat on the well and just
Yep.
died?
It's like, I'm gonna be a real cool looking skeleton Here in a
with,
couple
with,
years
a
when my
bucket, with
body
like a
decomposes.
bucket. Yeah, I just want to look cool in my death.
I could just like hear like Peter Jackson be like, "Hey, somebody sit that skeleton up. He needs to be sitting up, okay?"
He died really cool.
So Gandalf is kind of rough on these two boys, man. He's like, "You fool of a took, throw yourself in next time and rid us of your stupidity."
I've used that line since.
There's also like there's like a little moment of hatred from him too, because Gandalf like turns away from him and like closes the book, and he like looks up from the ground. And he like looks at him like this. And I was like, "Oh shit!" Like he's about getting sick of the way Gandalf's talking to him.
Before this, didn't he read that stuff in the book where he's like, "You'll never get out, drums in the deep," and
Right.
the blood splattered on the page,
Yes.
which was creepy as a kid. I was like, "Oh, they're never getting out."
So then Sam, being the MVP again, notices that Sting is glowing blue, and we all know what that means. Orcs. Legolas so kindly reminds us that orcs are coming. Gimli, or no, this is the Boromir line where he pops his head out and he's like, "They have a cave troll."
Hey, okay, troll. Like,
Also, we missed that line. We missed that scene, I think, with Mithril, the extended scene.
Oh yeah.
Where we
they
talk
go through
about
the
how-
the little cavern where you can see it.
See it all in the walls, and we talk
Yes.
about how expensive Mithril is, and
Worth more than the Shire.
which I think is a good addition to the movie as well. You know, due to later scenes, but
Yeah.
They said this is a kingly gift.
that is a kingly gift,
Like I said,
worth more than the Shire. Yeah.
Frodo's the richest man on the planet right now.
It
So-
also is about to save his ass.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So they have a cave troll. Gimli, of course, being Gimli's like, "Let him come. There's one dwarf in Moria that yet still draws breath."
At which point I'm like, "Go sit with the hobbits, you little fucker. You've been annoying for a bit now."
You've been in his defense, he's pretty BA.
He is. It's just been like since they entered Moria.
Yeah.
Like before, when he talked about wanting to go there, and then when they get there, he's
Yeah.
either like crying or talking about other stuff. And it's like,
like,
all right, look,
Gimli,
you're
you're on
obviously
the you're on the same level as Pippin at this point. As far as decisions.
not right. Yeah, pretty much. So this fight scene, super cool.
Really
you
dope.
You get all the little stuff out of the way, and the cave troll pretty much helps him take out part of the orcs, goblins, whatever they were.
Yeah, he kills quite a few.
Yeah, and then you get all the hobbits are together, and then they get separated during this fight.
Yeah.
And when Frodo gets cornered, is when he catches that spear to the chest.
You'll
Right.
notice when the hobbits are cornered, Gandalf is like standing in front of them trying to protect them, but that doesn't last very long.
Right. Yeah, so Frodo gets stabbed in the chest, and everybody's like, "Oh no, if this happens, we're doomed."
Also, by the way, like the
What a
faces, they like slow mo. It's like
Yeah.
that was so
Which
bad.
reminds me of that meme I send everybody where it's like, "When you get stabbed," and then it's like subtitles, "Gets stabbed," and it's Frodo.
And
Oh, I
notice
love
he
that.
does the same face when Shelob, spoiler,
Yeah,
stabs
yeah.
him.
That's
He
the
makes
face. That's
same
just the face you make
Does
when
he
you
do
get
it? Does he
stabbed.
do it on Weathertop? I didn't think about that.
I don't know.
He probably does do it. on
Oh yeah,
Weathertop.
he probably does.
If he didn't, he definitely made the noise.
How many times
That-
has he been stabbed? We should just call him Frodo Stabby Baggins.
Stabby Baggins.
Gets stabbed.
Frodo.
Frodo
Pincushion.
Stabbins, man.
Pincushion.
Frodo Pincushion.
Now we got a pincushion coming up towards the end.
Oh,
yeah.
no, don't say that. Anna's already gonna buy one. Anna, you better buy one.
I forgot about that.
Oh man.
Okay, so
So Frodo's alive. We're revealed that he has Mithril.
Would have totally
Mithril.
broken all of his ribs and made internal bleeding.
yeah,
You would think that just the blunt force alone would do
Yeah.
that, yes, but
But it wouldn't.
but no, he's all right. He's not hurt. He should be
Basically,
dead.
just took a club to the chest from a cave troll because it obviously didn't penetrate. You're dead, bro.
Yeah.
Mithril did not save you.
Yeah. You're fine.
So they leave the chamber, closely pursued by the orcs. They're panicking. They're
Start to get
surrounding the
surrounded.
Fellowship. Yep. There's a big circle. They got their weapons drawn. Everybody's like, "Oh crap! Well, this just may be it." And then they all run away. And that's the end of the movie. We get out safely.
Tune in for
No.
part 3.
No.
Tune in for part 3. So, Boromir's, what is this new devilry? Well, we finally have an answer. We probably should have gotten this at the very first hint of it, but It's a Balrog, a demon of the ancient world. The foe is beyond any of you. Run.
Also, they spend 2 whole minutes, like all the bad guys that got them encircled run away. He's standing there with his head down. He knows what's coming. They ask him what it is. He's like, all right, run. That whole time, you could have been running. You didn't. You were sitting there with your head by your staff like this, looking concerned.
Yeah.
All time that you guys probably could have used to get away.
Right?
And you know what? We might still have Gandalf if it wasn't for that.
Well.
Way to go, guys. Way to screw it up for all of us.
Way to go.
Yeah. So, we run. Yes. Down the passageway, over some steps into a chasm. Boromir almost falls. Legolas grabs him, pulls him, yanks him back up. Hobbits are too short. What a surprise.
Just toss him.
Yep.
I know the feel.
So they take a different flight of stairs down, and Aragorn and Gandalf bring up the rear. Lead them on. The bridge is near, says Gandalf. Do as I say. Swords are no more use here.
False.
Okay.
It was false.
Well, Gandalf's sword, because it's magic. Come on.
It was because he drew a lightning bolt into it. But whatever.
Well, whatever. Oh,
Get to
wait,
that
did
part
we skip
3.
the part where they were surrounded by the biggest goblin army ever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and then they just scatter.
They scattered.
Yeah.
when
Oh,
they-
yeah.
All you hear is and then everybody's
Yeah,
gone.
they're like, well, we don't want to mess with that.
Yep.
It seems like they've had previous experience with this Balrog.
Yeah.
It's like, we've lost 10,000 goblins to it already.
So we get the break in the middle or whatever, and we're tossing hobbits over. Aragorn reaches to grab Gimli. Gimli looks at him and very distinctively says, nobody tosses a dwarf. He goes to jump over it, and he almost doesn't make it, and then Legolas grabs his beard.
Yes.
It's a really
this
funny
whole
line.
time
Not the beard!
This whole time, goblins are shooting arrows. Good thing they have the aim of stormtroopers, but...
Yeah, so Aragorn and Frodo are still on the last one as it starts to kind of crumble and sway back and forth.
They lean forward.
Yep, it crashes into the other one. We
Catch
jump
'em.
ahead. We get to the other side. Over the bridge, fly. Let's go.
Start seeing.
So
from
this is the
chasm,
first
start seeing
time.
some flames come up from the chasm too.
So this is a very quick throwaway line I noticed where Gandalf says, "Over the bridge, fly,"
Yeah.
where he's indicating run, like fly, run. So when he says it again here in another minute, obviously he means run. I know people say, fly, you fools, means something else.
Yes, it does mean something else.
But no, it doesn't. Like, as we're stating here, it just means over the bridge, run.
Whatever. Kind
Whatever.
I will die on this hill.
So this is the part where we get the famous lines, "You cannot pass." And then we get the first reveal of Durin's Bane, the Balrog. And he's cool, man. He's this big, devil horny looking, awesome, fiery beast
With
of
wings.
Oh, nice. You
of a
put the
beast.
picture.
And
yeah.
he's got a whip, and he's got a big whip.
He's got
It's
a big
pretty
one.
nice. You
Well, I think his weapon can turn into whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's got a sword at first.
Because I know in the video game he can turn into like a whip, a trident, a whatever.
Right.
He's like a shapeshifter weapon.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Gangster.
Yeah.
What?
I said, what a gangster. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Like,
Durin's-
at first, I thought he'd just clash swords and then put it away and then pull the whip out after he was falling.
No, it's like
But
a
no, I didn't know that.
shapeshifter
That's pretty
weapon.
That's pretty cool.
So go back to the shadow.
Go back.
Very cool, dude. Yeah, this is the coolest Gandalf is in this movie. But go back to the shadow. He's using his whip now, to which, obviously,
As he falls, he uses his whip. But before that,
well, he's got the whip when he comes up to the bridge.
does he?
Yep, he sure does.
I think so.
He does do it in the middle of the bridge though. He does do a sword clash with Gandalf.
Yeah, I think he turned it into two weapons. There was something like that.
They clash swords and then he realizes my sword is not gonna.
Now I'm
bust him
forgetting,
up.
but I think he did have two weapons. I think.
Yeah, it says strikes down on Gandalf with his flaming sword. Gandalf parries and parries the blow with Glamdring, shattering the Balrog sword. So it does have a sword. It's broken. This is when he busts out the whip and starts
Gotcha.
whipping it around. You shall not pass. Oh, so dope, dude.
I just like when the first time I saw it, when he hits I was like, that did nothing. Gandalf,
It's like for as cool as it looked, it did nothing. And then you realize his first step onto the bridge, it goes down.
Imagine what the other guys were thinking when they heard it. They're just like standing across the bridge, and he's just like, "You shall not pass," and then just.
Yeah. They were like, really, really cool, Gandalf. Really cool.
He's like, wow, that guy is really,
Gandalf,
really cool.
if you want to start walking backwards, now would be a good time.
Yes, sir. So the Balrog steps onto the bridge begins to crumble, and the Balrog falls to his death.
Or so we think.
So we think, well, he does fall, not to his death, but he falls. We think that he's defeated. Gandalf turns to get his victory lap. But the whip comes up, grabs his ankle, yanks him back down off of the bridge. Everybody's trying to run to get him, which they totally could.
They totally could.
They totally had enough time.
Aragorn was like, no, we need him to die to become
Well, here's the
Aragorn.
deal: is he got this high up.
Yeah.
He got to his elbow.
And like Legolas,
bro, you could get back up.
Legolas weighs like, what, 13 pounds total?
Throw your leg
Have
over.
him go get him so the bridge doesn't break.
Yeah.
Do you know what I thought the first time I watched it when I was a kid? It's because like you see his sword fall. I was like, he's not letting that sword go. I've read that book. That's Glamdring the Foehammer. He's jumping and he's getting that sword.
Yeah, true.
True, dude. True. He can't leave that thing.
Dwarves, look at it. Look at this house I made. Baltic, your house. This is my house. Wait, who's Baltic?
I think he's talking about the Balrog.
Oh, Balrog.
Yeah. This is my house.
True.
So yeah, there goes Gandalf, and then there's a whole lot of
Yeah, so Gandalf looks at them
Crying.
all, says, "Fly, you fools," and falls to his death. I love Elijah Wood's. No!
Yeah.
Because he does it multiple times in this movie.
rude.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is also where we get the part that I was upset about, where you see them getting shot with arrows, and then all of a sudden you see Boromir just do one of these and slip an arrow as it's coming in his face, and I'm just like, no. You ain't just slipping your head like a boxing move and dodging that arrow right from your face. I'm sorry, bro.
That's like in The Hobbit where they were dodging the arrows with swords. They were parrying the arrows with swords. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Just stop.
In a video
Well,
game,
if you ever watch like Arrow on the CW about the Green Arrow, they'll just like turn and catch arrows.
Oh, please.
I'm like, you can get out of my face, dude. Whatever.
It's just like, I know it's a movie, but sometimes I'm like, oh, this is painful. I
Doesn't in Mulan? Doesn't Bori Khan catch an arrow too? Like she
Yeah.
like, shoots one and catches it, and then she like kicks another one. I'm like, dude, stop.
Hold on. These are regular people in Lord of the Rings. We're talking about people with chi.
Yeah, chi.
Don't make me talk to you about my chi.
Apparently, the best superpower known to man.
Because chi. It's so vague.
Oh man. So we get out of the mines. I like this moment too because Aragorn's
It's
like
sad. Yeah.
getting everybody up. We need to get
Legolas,
moving.
get them up.
He's kind of the new leader at that point. He's like, all right, I'm the new
Essentially,
leader.
And we get another human moment from Boromir here when he's like, give him a moment for pity's sake. By nightfall, these hills will be swarming with orcs. We must reach the woods of Lothlorien. Come, Boromir. Legolas, Gimli, get them up. Let's go.
Skodan.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you could tell like from because where they enter the woods at, you can look back almost and see this is where they came out at.
Right.
So it wasn't super far that they had to go, but it was like, we need to go now.
Well, yeah, because like they know where they come out. There's going to be, like they said, swarming with orcs.
Mm-hmm.
As happened in the last episode of this podcast, we forgot to mention that Saruman is breeding Uruk-hai, which is orcs and goblin crossbred,
Yeah.
and we got the introduction of Lurtz.
He's just a really huge orc.
the leader.
Yes, he's a really big.
He's like if
orc.
Legolas went corrupt.
I don't think he's that cool.
He's Legolas on steroids. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah. I don't know. He's pretty good with a bow at close range.
Close range.
Stop! No! Don't do this to me.
Anyways.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Yeah, we see Lurtz, and we see how they're like ripping these Uruk-hai out of the ground, ripping like the membrane stuff off and like pulling them out and putting handprints on them and giving them all their gear.
Oh yeah, so Uruk-hai orcs are corrupted elves,
Yep.
but Uruk-hai are a mix of elves or orcs and goblins.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you have
well, I
orcs,
don't know
goblins,
type
and
at all.
Urukai. Three
Yeah.
different kinds of orcs, essentially.
In the books, they also do crossbreed orcs and trolls to have half trolls, and they're freaky too.
Right.
Which you do see a half troll in
I
number
was saying, are
3.
those the ones that are running
You do, yeah.
in?
Well, so you know the one that Aragorn in number 3 puts
Stabs.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a half troll.
Okay, I thought so.
Okay.
That's a half troll.
Yeah. Oh, after we see the Lurts and all the stuff that Saruman's doing, they cross into the woods of Lothlorien.
Right, and where Gimli says, "Great sorceress lives in these woods, an elf witch of terrible power. All who look upon her face fall under her spell."
You get the scary Frodo's hearing voices stuff, but then you also get the comic relief from Gimli, the
Yeah.
eyes of a hawk and the ears of a fox, and then turns right into an arrow.
I swear.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Gimli, this movie
What
would...
did the elf say to Gimli? Oh, the dwarf was breathing so loud we could have shot him in the dark.
Elves and dwarves have the
Dwarf
most funny
breathes so
rivalry.
loud.
It's a color.
Oh, man, it's so funny.
The beef between elves and dwarves is just
it's hilarious.
amazing.
What is this? You're a goblin? That's my wee lad Gimli. What is this?
So this elf is Haldir. He pops up again in the second one, but he's also in Spartacus. So I just wanted to give that guy a shout out because he's a real jerk in Spartacus Blood and Sand. So
Perfect.
You do see
Yeah,
this
you
guy in
bring-
the second movie too.
you bring great evil with you, essentially, is what he says to him. But
Then he says, you stop here," and then he bleeds him anyway.
and then he leads him in. I'm thinking,
He just gives Frodo the evil eyes too. He's like, "You bring great evil with you." Like he looks away from everybody and just gives him that look too. Like
Frodo's like, "Dude, I'm just trying to."
it's like, dude, come on,
Dude.
trying to save everybody here.
so they go up the big winding staircase in the trees towards the court of Galadriel and Celeborn with lots of glowing angelic light to really symbolize that these two elves are really,
Yeah, they're cool.
they're cool. And
So cool.
We're a big deal.
so godly. Yes.
The elves are so pretentious. I said it before and I'll say it again. Come on. We gotta go to Valar and you guys don't. Maybe.
Yes. 8 that are here, 9 that were set out from Rivendell. Tell me, where's Gandalf? I have much desire to speak with him. He dead, bruh. Sorry.
He gone. He gone.
He has fallen into shadow, as Galadriel reads in Aragorn's head, right?
I think so.
Also, kind of a weird dynamic here. Like you would almost kind of think like that dude is like the king of the woods because he's up there with her. But I feel like that's just kind of her boyfriend and she runs stuff. Like
Galadriel is like one of the most powerful.
Yeah, she's a boss.
She's. I think she's more powerful than White Wizards. Is what some. I don't know. There's like a power ranking we could look up.
I think she is, but she gets so exhausted from using
Yeah,
power.
she gets like you see in The Hobbit. She
Yes.
gets so exhausted from sending exiling Sauron.
Yeah.
It actually used to be Betty Gray until she killed her half.
It's the best thing I've ever read in my life.
That's fun.
Oh,
Betty
that's
White
awesome.
actually. That is hilarious, Dale.
That's super funny.
Oh,
All right,
I
just
know
so
that.
just so chat or just so anybody watching knows, chat said Betty White actually used to be Betty Gray until she killed a half and ascended until she killed a Balrog and ascended.
Ascended to Betty White.
Oh my gosh, she has a ring of power.
She has a ring of power.
That's so funny.
That was beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
We go through a lot of like Galadriel saying one thing but like speaking another in her head, which is a very cool way that they did that. Or whatever.
Yeah.
She's talking to Frodo in her head while she's giving the speech, yada yada, to everybody else.
By the way, like probably hard to do. That's a lot of multitasking right there.
Yeah. Pippin's probably there like, why aren't I getting any voices in my head? It's like, because
You're stupid.
you're stupid. You're here
And
for
then
comic
it's-
relief.
Yes, and then it turns into yes, go sleep. You guys are grieving. Take the night to rest. Blah blah blah.
This is where you get to see the little fountain area and their cute little setup where they're gonna sleep, and then you also kind of get to see like she didn't just talk to Frodo, like she was in other people's.
There's a
heads here,
couple.
Right,
too.
There's
yeah.
actually a couple extended scenes here where Sam sings a song and
Ugh.
a couple. Yeah, it was a terrible song.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple extended scenes.
Right, Sam. Right, doesn't Sam do the little eulogy for Gandalf and whatnot? His fireworks were the greatest. Oh, that hardly does him any justice.
Yeah. And then Aragorn and Boromir talk, I think, in this extended
Yep.
scene. And then this is when Boromir's like, man, you're never coming back, man. I don't know what they say. But
Yeah.
Dude.
What was I thinking of here? You get to see Legolas do something too, don't you?
It's the whole scene where they observe like singing that song of Lament or whatever for Gandalf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The song is longer, and Sam tries to come up with one of his own eulogies based on Gandalf's fireworks.
Heard that.
So that whole thing is extended.
Wish I didn't, but I did.
essentially.
Wish I never. Come on, Sam. Sam's my boy.
Aragorn reminds Boromir that these borders are well protected, so get some rest, to which Boromir says, I will not find rest here. I heard her voice inside my head. She spoke of my father and the fall of Gondor. She said to me, even now there is hope left, but I cannot see it. It is long since we've had any hope. But there is hope, Boromir.
Yeah,
Believe
stop trying to take it away. How about
Yeah.
that?
Immediately followed up by one of the biggest lies in the entire movie, where he's like, my father is a noble man.
Lord Denethor's my favorite character in Lord of the Rings. How he eats tomatoes.
Oh, it's so funny.
He's a noble.
Yeah, Boromir and Aragorn talk for a while here about, returning to the White City and stuff. I haven't seen it in a while. Nice moment between these two.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is asleep, essentially, when Frodo goes down to the little mirror water to meet Galadriel. Asks him to look into the mirror. And then he does, and we see
The fall of the Shire, basically.
Yep, the Shire burning, orcs ripping it to pieces, putting hobbits into slavery, so on and so forth. It's pretty awful.
Would hobbits make
Then you see
amazing
the
slaves?
No, they're fucking lazy.
All they do is eat.
Then you get to the part where it's just the eye, and then he has to kind of yank the ring out. And
Right.
instead of her being like, "Oh, sorry about that," she's just looking at him like, "I saw what you saw too." It's like, well, why didn't you help me pull my head out then when the ring was getting sucked in?
I think it's a test at that point.
Yeah. But she was the one really tested. in
She's the
next
one
scene.
being tested, but I think Frodo's tested so often
Yeah.
througght these movies, where that's just another example.
He needs to be on the next one. I'm sorry, I need this guy in my life.
Boromir and not Boromir.
Daniel says in chat once again, Denethor has two sons, Boromir and not Boromir.
What's your name again? I don't even remember. I really don't.
Oh man, that's funny.
That's terrible. Okay, so this is where he offers the ring. I was like, "Would you take
Yes,
it?"
if you asked it of me, I would give it to you.
Yep.
And
then
she's
you
like,
see
ooh.
her turn into that crazy looking lady.
Yeah.
Yes, she does not deny it.
Also terrifying.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Faramir. Oh, yeah,
It's Faramir,
It
yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, Faramir and Boromir. But, yes, the big, freaky...
To be fair, Galadriel would be super powerful with the ring until it took her over, basically.
I just said, "All will love me in despair." Why do we have to do both?
Yeah. What?
What the hell?
What? The...
All shall love me in despair.
Yeah.
I'm like, oof. She returns to normal and says she's passed the test. She will diminish and go into the west and remain Galadriel.
Yes.
So,
Or she could come help fight the orc armies because she's so powerful. What a lazy hoe.
Like, you saw what Gandalf did. You don't want her help too?
Yeah. Seriously. She has a, oh,
She does have a ring of power. Yep.
Okay.
She already has one.
so now we're kind of implied that he's in danger. You know who I speak of, Boromir. And she kind of leads on here that all of these dudes will eventually be corrupted by this thing as it spends more time with them, essentially. You are a ring bearer, Frodo. You have to bear this power alone. The task was appointed to you, and if you do not find a way, nobody will.
Oh.
So he's like, oh man, I know what I gotta do. I'm just afraid to do it. He's gotta go. He's gotta do it alone, essentially.
Even Aragorn will get corrupted eventually. How dare you?
Here we get Saruman. We cut back over to Saruman and Lurtz, or Lutz. Or no, it's Lurtz.
It's
Lurtz,
Lurtz.
yeah.
He basically says the halfling carries something of great importance to me. Bring me the halfling. Kill everybody else. Be gone, wench.
Be gone.
And sends the entire, like...
When is the point where he explains to Lurtz? Well, that's probably earlier. We probably missed it, maybe.
This is the part.
Oh, this is the part.
Do you know how the orcs first came to be? They were elves, once taken by dark powers, tortured and mutilated, a ruined and terrible form of life, now perfected. My fighting Uruk-hai, whom do you serve? Saruman!
Saruman. Count Dooku.
Yeah, so hunt them down. Do not stop until they are found. You do not know pain. You do not know fear. You will taste man flesh. One of the halflings carries the ring. Bring them to me alive and unspoiled, and kill the others. So the whole unit battalion leaves to go find these halflings.
At this point, the hobbits are all safe. The hobbits are like, they're not going to kill us.
Right. Yep. They're in Galadriel's territory. They're like, okay, fine, we're good. Let's never leave.
Let's never.
Well,
We cut back.
let's just point out before we talk about the gifts that she gave them. She just let them have some super sick boats, and they abandoned 3 of them, and then just throw one over a waterfall.
Yeah.
Those were elegant boats.
Yeah, they were.
Pretty much. Yeah, we get a scene quick with Frodo and Galadriel where she reveals that she's got a ring of power as well. Of course, she's one of the elves that was given one.
Yeah.
5 elves, right?
I think so.
I think something like that.
Something like that. We cut back to immediately they're leaving. They're getting the boats ready. They're getting the gifts, essentially.
Gimli's gift was so creepy.
Oh,
So incredibly creepy.
I don't know what to think about it. We should leave that part out.
That's it. That was also an extended part, I think. I believe.
Farewell, Frodo Baggins. To you I give the light of Arendelle, our most beloved star. So he gets the light.
Which really has no real powers. Kind of useless. Just a cool lamp.
Against things that are of a dark nature, it'll.
Sort of.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those things.
That's fine.
So, yeah, Merry and Pippin get the swords, the daggers from them, which are, it's not explained, but it's made out of the metal that can hurt
Ring wraiths.
essentially.
It's like the only metal. It's a weird type of.
I wish they would have done maybe an extended scene or something in there to explain that is the forged metal that can actually, damage them.
Yeah.
And Sam got a rope.
And Sam got a rope.
Hey, but
Gimli-
it's a super cool rope.
Gimli got some stuff too. But
I will say Sam does make good use of that rope. I was thinking the other day how many times he uses the rope. I'm like, it is
does.
quite a bit.
yeah,
Use it to turn Gollum into a puppy, but
yeah, sure does.
Use it to rock climb a little bit.
other than that, yeah, when he uses it to rock him, he's like, oh, I tied this up here, it's not coming down. Tink, and then it just falls.
Yeah, true.
That's a double wedged something knot. That ain't
Right.
coming down.
That ain't coming down.
Right?
So this is a cool little part here where we're canoeing down the river and we cut back and forth to the Uruk-hai storming through the woods and the boats going down the river back and forth, letting us know that these people are coming.
You really, Legolas is the only person that looks over and is like, okay, something's going on.
Essentially, yes.
Oh, is that true? Apparently, there was an elf who was asking for Galadriel's lock of hair for hundreds of thousands of years. Then she gave her lock of hair to Gimli as an FU to the other elf.
So
The obsessed
yep.
elf.
So I remember this. The obsessed elf wanted 3 locks of hair, to which she gave him 1. And then, because she read in his heart that, he was obsessed and kind of corrupted and not off. But Gimli asked for 1, so she gave him 3, because she could tell that
cool.
Gimli's,
He's chill.
Yep, I remember reading that fun fact as well.
I don't want to be a dick here, but she's not that hot, all right? for the strands of hair thing, she's not that hot.
True.
Legolas says we should leave now. Or no, sorry. We're jumping ahead a little bit.
This is when Anna plucked hairs out of her head and gave it to me, and I was like, "Why?"
Anna being a weirdo on the couch. Here's some of my hair.
I'm like, no.
Because this is where we hide the boats.
He says we cross at nightfall.
Yes.
Yep, all that stuff. He said the eastern shore is patrolled by orcs. And then everybody kind of realizes at that point, after they're kind of bickering about a few things, and then Gimli kind of goes off on a tangent about how terrible the rest of the path to Mordor is. Everybody's like, where's Frodo?
Where?
Yeah, that's right. An impassable labyrinth of razor-sharp rocks, and after that it gets even better. Festering, stinking marshlands as far as the eye can see.
With weird candles everywhere.
But Aragorn says that's the path we're taking, so you might as well
That
get
is
some
our
rest.
path.
That's the way we're going, so get some rest, Master Dwarf.
Please no, Anna.
Okay, Tangled.
Oh, yeah, so this is where we get Boromir going into the forest.
Yeah, first
Let me just
Yeah,
pick up
first-
some really small sticks that probably won't keep a fire going very long while I'm looking for Frodo.
Right.
We hear some stuff. Legolas says we should leave now. Orcs, no orcs patrol the eastern shore.
Oh,
we have
yep,
to wait for darkness.
I
Yep.
forgot about this part. This is where Legolas says, like, there's something evil, like,
Yeah, it's not
drawing
the
near.
it's not the eastern shore that worries me. A shadow and a threat has been growing in my mind. Something draws near.
Wait,
I
who
can
says
feel
that
it.
one?
Legolas.
Legolas, he's one of those people who just puts the hand to the ground and he's like, full buffalo, 20 miles away. He just knows
This is actually just elves being, like, light creatures, like, something bad's coming.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
True.
So this is where Merry notices that Frodo's gone, asks where he is, and then we cut to him in the woods. We cut to Frodo in the woods, and then Boromir off camera says something. We shouldn't wander alone. What despairs you, or what depends on
What
you,
a
It's at
Frodo?
least of all you.
What a Boromir thing.
So many of us depend on you, Frodo.
He says
Such
so
a
many,
Boromir
He
thing to
says
say.
so many Boromir things.
There's a lot of good stuff in this little exchange between Boromir and Frodo, because like you can see that this isn't Boromir, and it sucks, dude. Because
Yeah.
you've grown to like him now with all of the little cuts you get.
Yeah.
Boromir says, "I know why you seek solitude. You suffer. I see it day by day. You sure you do not suffer needlessly? There are other ways, Frodo. Paths we might take." He's like, "I know what you would say."
And it would seem like wisdom.
But for the warning,
Which
or
translates
warming in
to,
my heart,
fuck you.
For the warning.
warning against what? We're all afraid, Frodo, but to let that fear drive us, to destroy us, or to destroy what we hope we have. Don't you see that is madness?
I don't know though. Lord Denethor's pure of heart. He would be able to wield the ring.
Dude.
He'd be able to wield it
He would
easily.
slaughter everybody in the Fellowship except for Boromir.
Abandon your post.
He'd be like, kill them all except for Boromir. Kill Faramir too.
I forgot it. I already forgot his name.
Okay, kill our army too. Send our army away. I got a ring and my son. That's all I need.
Will you go kill not Boromir quick?
Not Boromir.
I have a ring, my son, and these cherry tomatoes. Right? That's all I need.
Cherry tomatoes. A bowl of cherry tomatoes.
Oh goodness.
So this is where Boromir throws the wood, and he's like, "I only ask for the strength to defend my people. If you would lend me the ring."
Mm-hmm.
And here we start to see it turn. We're like, "No,
You weren't out gathering firewood, were you?
Why do you recoil? I am no thief.
I am no thief. You are not yourself," which we all know
yeah.
at this point. Like, oh crap, he's not himself. What chance do you think you have? Boromir says. "They will find you. They will take the ring, and you will beg for death before the end." Frodo tries to run. Boromir calls him a fool and chases him down.
Frodo disappears and Boromir gets kicked in the face.
Yeah,
Don't you love how Frodo circles back around and trips him again?
yeah.
Like, what was that for?
That was the extra FU he was talking about earlier.
That was hilarious.
So he puts the ring on and disappears. He says, "I see your mind. You will take the ring to Sauron. You will betray us. You go to your death and the death of us all. Curse you, and all the halflings."
And then bipolar comes and kicks in.
Yeah. So
What
this
have
is
I
where
done?
he gets his head back. He's like,
Stop
Frodo, what have I done? Oh God. He gets his mind back, and he's like, "What have I done?" That sucks, and it's a really good acting on Sean Bean's part because it comes through really well. Where you're like, "Crap!" Like that whole thing was
Wasn't
literally just a ring.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I called him Scene Bean for at least 8 years.
Scene Bean.
I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Frodo kind of stumbles around in the Wraith world for a while until he falls off of the bridge onto his back. The ring pops the ring off, and then stands up, and Aragorn's standing there.
Yes. This is when you realize Aragorn has a lot more restraint for now.
Yes,
Yep.
for now he has way more restraint. He says Frodo tells him it has taken the ring has taken Boromir, which Aragorn's like, "Where is the ring?" Thinking that Boromir might have taken it. And then here's that distrustful moment where
Well, I mean, he is blood to Isildur, the weakest man on the planet.
exactly where he's like, "I swore to protect you, Frodo," and he's like, "But can you protect me from yourself?" And this comes through really well on Viggo Mortensen's face too, where he's like thinks about it for a second, and he's like,
Yeah, I should probably kill him. and
he's
take
like,
the ring.
"Would you destroy it?" And he's like, Probably not.
I like the way he gets right next to the ring, and Frodo's just like holding it, like, and then he closes his.
And then he closes his hand. Yep.
Yep.
Where, obviously.
I feel like he's
Boromir
offered
wouldn't
because he offered it to Galadriel. I'm like, Frodo, you're just trying to get rid of
Yeah,
the ring. He was trying-
He's like, at this point, he's like, dude, can I just go home?
Can I just go home? The
Like,
Shire was
This
pretty
hasn't been fun. My friend died. You guys have been dicks to me. I
you
want
not?
to go home.
Would you not try and pawn it off on everybody?
Oh, yeah.
I would. I'd be like, dude, literally anybody wants this thing?
Where's
Here.
that Gollum creature? Isn't he following us? He would just throw it at him and
Oh,
run.
that was another thing that we got. Is Gollum on a log
Oh, that's right.
Oh yes.
paddling down the river?
Yeah, he followed them through the mines and
Yep.
such. Yep.
I forgot about that part.
Yep. That part missed me too. I didn't
Forgot
see
about
that.
that. Well, it had been one of the first times I paid attention enough to like see that, and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And this is also where Aragorn's on his knees, like right in front of Frodo, like I would have followed you to the end, and then all of a sudden he realizes
so
blue sword.
So that that Gollum scene where he's on the log extended.
Yeah, I knew it was extended.
It was, yeah.
Because I remember I had seen the extended, but for some reason, I have a habit of skipping to the part where Aragorn fights the entire group of Uruk-hai because it's my favorite.
Right.
But yeah, this is where we're at. So
Yeah. But yeah, that's when the sword turns blue and he
turns blue and he says run. Turns around and there's a whole horde
The
of
whole
them.
battalion of
yeah,
orcs
apparently
led by
Sting isn't
lords.
that good because it's like, oh, it has like a 10-foot radius because they're all right there. Or maybe
Yeah.
it was been glowing the whole time and he didn't.
And
Well,
they were just talking.
He had just got right next to him too, and it was fully sheathed. Like he just kind of like was.
Oh
right
yeah,
next
so
to
it was
his-
probably
yeah.
glowing for a while.
Yeah,
I was about to say, do you have to be right next to an orc?
he's like this.
Radar, like.
Yeah, orc radar just holding it up in the air.
Yeah.
So like, Aragorn turns to fight this battalion of orcs, and he gives them that smile or whatever. I love him to death, dude. And he starts fighting them off.
Those orcs are all like bodybuilders and they go down pretty easy. But it's because these guys
Yeah.
are BA, obviously.
Yep, and they force them
They've
up
also
the
been
stairs as they're
running
fighting.
at like full speed.
That's true.
since Isengard.
Their stamina's like gone.
So swords start clanking, and Sam immediately starts looking for Frodo.
Yeah.
Needs it. There's a lot of little stuff in this whole end climax scene that was added for the extended, like Lurtz licking the blood off of his dagger, all of that
Yeah.
stuff. Nothing like substantial, but just little additions.
Little stuff. There's an unplanned part coming up that I'll bring up.
We knew it was coming.
Kyle brings it up every time.
Every time I'm like, I can't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say
Kyle.
it. Don't say it.
That was unscripted.
Legolas
Yeah.
shows up as Aragorn's kicking some ass already. I believe he gets to the top of the bridge thing where Frodo fell from,
Right.
and then is taking people out there, and then he jumps off.
Right.
Bodies like
For
three of them.
style points, as
Yeah.
Dan would say.
Bodies like three of them, and then Legolas does the here. Let me stab you with an arrow, and then put it back in and shoot somebody else with it.
And then one of his arrows goes through two of them.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right.
So here we see Frodo hiding behind a tree. Merry and Pippin see him, and he's like, "Come hide over here." He's like, "Nah, dude." He shakes his head and like runs off the other way. And it's like, "What is he doing?"
He's leaving.
He's leaving. Mary says he's leaving.
Because he remembers what Galadriel said. He's like, can't stay here with you guys.
Right. Essentially, they see him, but Merry and Pippin pop out and distract the orc that sees him. Tells him to keep going.
It's working.
It is, yeah.
I know it's working.
I know it's working. Run.
Those two get hauled up and dragged away by the two that they attacked. Yeah, they distract him or whatever, run off, and then they eventually get caught by the orcs.
Well, there's a lot in between there.
Yeah, the Boromir thing happens before they
Yeah,
get caught
that
up.
was the Boromir thing happens in between.
Oh, well, the distraction doesn't.
Oh.
So they must distract him, and then Frodo gets away. I know it's working. Run. That
Yep.
part.
And then you start hearing the Horn of Gondor. To which Aragorn...
The Horn of Gondor!
Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas start taking off towards the sound, and this is where you see Boromir trying to protect the both of them.
Right, he comes out of nowhere and starts.
Can I just say, though, they are long-range masters. They were doming some of those guys with rocks, dude.
Yeah, Merry and Pippin.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
just doming
I feel
people
like
with rocks.
I feel like hobbits are pretty good at that because I feel like that's not the only scene. They're like baseball champs. They'd win the
much.
world. The Shire would win the World Series every
year.
Every year.
So Boromir tells the hobbits to run as he continues defending them. He kills a couple more orcs, and then Lurtz draws an arrow and lets it loose into Boromir's chest.
That's how I knew he was a Legolas at one point.
Stops him. Yeah. Stops him for a second. He takes a breath, kind of drops and limp a little bit. Then he gets a second wind, hops up, kills a couple more. Lurtz knocks another bow or another arrow, lets another one fly into his chest.
And he's still fighting.
And he's still fighting. He gets up. He loses his breath for a second, gets back up, starts swinging again.
Use your shield, Boromir. You hauled it for miles to not use it. True.
Yep.
Pretty much. This is the part where Boromir doesn't use his shield.
Sorry, he had a sword in one hand and the horn of Gondor in the other.
Yeah, he has to use the Horn of Gondor.
Which, by the way, he probably should have used the shield.
Which
So-
Rohan would not have answered.
Yeah, probably not.
So Lurtz knocks yet another arrow and lets a third one fly into Boromir's chest. This one knocks him down to his knees.
Just
Permanently.
catch the arrow with your chi.
Yeah, why don't you just catch it with your cheek?
With your
Or
cheek.
do a backflip and kick it back at him, you know? That's what I would
That's
do.
what I would do.
That's what I'd do if I was in Middle Earth.
So yeah, this drops Boromir to his knees as he is dying, essentially, this time.
This is
He's
where the
not
hobbits
getting back
realize,
up.
all right, Rock Throwing's not doing anything. They pull their swords out, like, we're going to do something.
And then it does
Then they get hauled off, and then you see just...
Not before yelling Shire. Shire!
And then they're just like, no.
Yeah.
So Lurtz knocks an arrow about 9 inches away from Boromir and pulls it all the way back with maybe 2 inches to go in between his head and the arrow. And I'm like, okay, this dude's like messed up. Like, this is the moment where you can tell that
There's a big F you to finish that.
Yeah.
Like,
this dude loves killing, and you can tell it in this scene.
This is where we were talking about the sewing pincushion that I want to buy Anna. A Boromir pincushion.
Aragorn pops up and stops Lurtz from bodying Boromir from that distance.
also, I never saw his shield or his sword hanging on him while he was doing that arrow thing. But then as soon as Boromir died, he stands up, bow's gone, sword's out, shield's on.
Or did he pick up a shield from one of the dead?
I would say,
Okay.
I would think so.
Because I don't think he
literally,
ever had a shield.
If you pay close attention to him when he's like just walking up with the bow, you don't see him have anything else on him.
Right. Well, because we see for a moment that his shield is up against a tree when he is gathering firewood.
Oh no, we're talking about Lurtz.
Oh, Lurtz.
Like,
Okay, I thought
like
you were
he
talking
definitely
about
picked
Boromir.
up a
Because
he
once-
definitely picked up a shield from a dead orc.
Aragorn tackles Lurtz.
Right,
while
and then
he's-
he frisbees it or whatever.
Yeah, because as soon as Lurtz stands up to fight him, he's got a sword and a shield. But before
Right.
that, he was just bow.
Yeah. So yeah, he must have picked it up from a dead body.
He pressed L2 and cycled through his weapons.
Yeah.
So you hold L1 and then use the
Yeah.
joystick
That's
to
what he
select
did.
the weapon.
That's what he did.
Duh.
So he pins him to a tree and
Freaking awesome when he pins him to that tree, dude.
terrifying.
Dude,
Terrifying.
if that didn't have any indent in it, that's the end of Aragorn.
Yeah,
dude.
that's the
Boom,
end.
he's dead right there.
And then it's all over.
Like,
Hardest level on PS2. That's true.
Yeah, that is
Killing
true,
Lurtz was difficult in the video game.
Yep,
That's
remember
true,
that.
man.
I remember that.
this fight is stinking awesome. Boromir. Aragorn loses his sword, gets his dagger, stabs Lurtz in the leg, makes a break. He pulls the knife out, and in the extended scene licks it before throwing it at Aragorn.
Go ahead, tell us, Kyle.
Who has found his sword and swings and knocks the dagger away, completely scripted. They had to do that multiple times.
Oh, really?
Just kidding. He actually threw the dagger at Viggo Mortensen, and he actually knocked it away in the first take, and that's the one that.
So
they
why
used.
did he throw the dagger at him?
It was probably an accident.
It's probably an accident.
Oh.
He didn't mean to. Like, he was probably supposed to pretend to throw
He
it.
was probably supposed to give it, like, make it look real, and then as he's at the end of his throw, it's like, ah, shit.
Like, let it go.
It went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it was at least foam or
Yeah,
something.
hopefully it wasn't a real
I
dagger.
don't think it was. I think
I
it was.
think
a
they
real
kept
dagger.
that clang noise because that sounded pretty real.
I think it was a real dagger, if I'm
Yeah.
remembering correctly.
Aragorn dies on set, and everyone's like, well, this is awkward.
The next two movies are going to suck.
Well, we gotta find his... He dies here, okay.
So we get a few more sword clashes before he stabs Lurtz, and then he kind of like moves forward or whatever.
He yanks it out. And
Again, scary. Yanks it out. Lobs his head
Decapitation.
off, dude. Very sexy. Very
And
Aragorn.
this is the first time
Very
you ever
sexy.
see Aragorn with, like, half of his ass whooped and bleeding out of his
Yeah.
face, and, like, he looks tired. Like, that fight took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
So this next scene, very sad. He runs over to Boromir. Boromir is dying, says they took the little ones. He tells him, I let Frodo go. He says, I did. Then you did what I could not. I tried to take the ring from him. And he's like crying, essentially, running out of breath, dying. It's real sad. The ring is beyond our reach now. Forgive me. Boromir says, I did not see it. I have failed you all. Sweetness, man. I'm choking up like reading this. I like this scene between these two, man.
Let me get the saddest part out of the way for you, all right?
Yeah.
This is my captain,
Yeah.
my king. I think he starts with my brother.
My
Yeah.
brother.
My captain, my king. Yeah.
I would have followed you.
Yes.
I would have followed you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yes. Be at peace, son of Gondor. And he kisses Boromir
On the lips.
on the brow.
I wish.
But I wish it was the lips.
Me too.
And Boromir passes on into sweet Valhalla.
Yeah, they did a Viking funeral for him. I'm like, he's going to Valhalla. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
This is where you get kind of Gimli and Legolas run up, and then Legolas kind of stops and just like looks over real sad.
Legolas looks really sad in
Yeah.
that scene.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
I remember
No,
that.
really sad.
Elves are too pretentious. He doesn't care. I'm just kidding. He's like, good, another human.
He just
dead.
wants to get back to the fire and eat some lembas bread.
Lemnis bread. I need some more lemnis bread.
So now we get Sam sprinting through the woods looking for Frodo, yelling, Frodo! Frodo! Frodo has pushed a boat out onto the water. He's going to cross the lake and get out of here on his own. Of course you are, and I'm coming with you.
Mm-hmm.
Sam says as he runs out into the water, begins to drown in about 3.5 feet of water. It's so funny because he's like 6 feet out from the shore.
He's like,
You
I'm
can
coming with
see
you.
it in the movie
And
because
he
they're
starts,
hobbits.
he starts going out of the water, and I'm like, Rudy. Rudy. And then Sam is deep in the water, even though it's probably 4 feet deep.
It's probably about 4 or 5 feet deep water. He's drowning.
A hand plunged in.
Frodo rescues him, pulls him onto the boat. I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise. Don't you lose him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to. I don't mean to. Oh, Sam.
All right, that's cool, but you're getting the boat really wet and it's slippery in here now, and I don't want to fall out.
Yeah. so.
So this is where they do Boromir's Viking funeral.
Yeah.
Of course, which sends him to Valhalla. Good for him. He gets to drink and fight
In the
for the
halls
rest
of his
days.
forefathers.
Yes.
Legolas says, Frodo and Sam have reached the eastern shore. Let's hurry. Legolas doesn't say anything, and they're like, well, we're not going to follow him or something.
This is also right when we get that
Got the arm guard.
he's
Yes, he
took
puts-
Boromir's arm guards off. They have the
With
white
the-
tree of Gondor on them.
Yes, sir, which is the beginning of that flip, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
To see him finally becoming the king.
Slowly but surely starting to accept his role. Yeah.
But, yeah. But then Aragorn's just like, no, we're not following.
He says,
Yeah, we're
but
gonna
we
follow
will not leave Merry and Pippin to torment and death.
Yeah.
Let's hunt some orc.
Let's hunt
Yeah, let's hunt some
Which
orc.
those three kill a lot of orcs throughout the series.
Gimli, I like Gimli where Gimli's like, it's all been in vain then, the fellowship is dead. And he's like, no. And that's when he says, obviously, we have to go. But I just like that line, then it's all been in vain. He's like, not quite. We have to rescue these two. We can't leave them.
Yeah.
To which Gimli's like, yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah, they were all pretty excited about that.
Some of the best Gimli lines aren't even lines. They're just him getting a look on his face, like excited, going,
Gonna kill more orcs.
yeah, right.
Especially since he does want revenge now for what happened to all of his like ancestors.
Yep.
He just wants to go kill orcs.
Yeah, pretty much. So we cut back to Frodo and Sam, who are
Looking at Mordor.
looking
for
at
the first time.
Mordor. Frodo hopes that the others find a safer route. Sam says that Aragorn will look after him. Says Strider will look after him. And that
I think that's like one of the last times we hear him called Strider.
pretty much, yeah. And then Frodo says, I don't suppose we'll ever see them again.
Yeah.
And we may yet, Mr. Frodo.
That's where you're wrong, bucko.
That's where you're wrong.
And Frodo says, Sam, I'm glad you're with me. And you will be by the end. So they start to go down the rocks, and that is the end of
I believe
the
that.
movie.
I believe that, Daniel, by the way. Gimli was the largest person on set.
John Rhys Davies.
Yeah.
Jonathan Rhys Davies, yeah. For sure.
All right, well, that's that for that one.
That's the end of the movie. Fellowship of the Ring, completely done now. What do you guys think after rewatching it after all of these years?
Boy, it's it's just as good as I
If I'm
remember.
being completely honest, I've had like 3 Lord of the Rings marathons since I moved in here. So I've been watching it quite a bit. It seems to be, I just like pick one.
That wasn't the question.
It's my go-to movie, so.
It's
Yes,
just
after
as
watching
good.
it after all these 6 days since the last time I watched it.
After all these 6 days.
In The Fellowship of the Ring, what is your favorite moment?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask sexiest Aragorn.
We'll get to
too.
that.
Well,
We'll get to that.
Mine are both. So my section and my favorite moment is when he comes around the corner after letting Frodo go and he's up against that horde and he just starts going to town.
Okay. Okay.
I like his first move where he's just like sidesteps one and then goes back and cuts his leg off and then keeps going. Like, yep, this is my dude.
My favorite moment has to be somewhere in the Mines of Moria, though. For me.
Yeah.
And I don't know where yet.
Is it when Boromir slips the arrow?
Yeah, no. With his chi, please stop. It either has to be the fight with the cave troll or something with the Balrog. One of the two.
Yeah.
Probably
The cave troll is a really cool sequence.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the human moments in this movie. Like, obviously, action's always going to be my favorite. The whole climax at the end is amazing. But if I can just put all together those quick little human moments you get where Gandalf is like, the Mines of Moria, and you just get that look on his face. You get Boromir, like, panting, sweating. And
Again,
he's like,
after
let
we
him...
discussed it tonight, there's so much stuff that he didn't tell them that he should have told them.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, we're going to the Mines of Moria. I might have to go up against Balrog. That's probably not going to go well for me. Hey, Aragorn, do you want to come have a talk with me away from the others in case I die and I'll give you some instructions?
Yeah.
Like, that easily could
By
have
the way,
happened.
they're all keeping secrets from each other. Frodo was the secret of his Mithril. They're like, oh, this guy has secrets. It's like none of them are telling each other anything.
Gimli's is the secret that he hasn't talked to his family in years that he claims to love so much.
Goblins are... By the way, Dale, you are correct. Whenever Sean Bean's in a movie, he will die. I said this last podcast. I said that.
Yeah, so Sean Bean is very famous for always dying in his movies / TV shows. Always, constantly dying. So when he's in movies, you can probably just
There's only
expect
one
it.
that he doesn't die in that I can think of.
Yeah. Ned
And
Stark
that's,
lives till the
that's
end.
National Treasure.
Dang it.
Yeah,
He doesn't die now. That's the only one that I can think of.
that's true. He
You
doesn't
hear what
die in
I said
National
Ned,
Treasure.
Ned
He goes to
Stark
prison,
makes
but
it till the end, obviously.
For sure, for
Oh,
sure.
you sweet summer child.
You just wait.
So just real quick before the sexiest Aragorn, who do you think the MVP of this movie is?
Of this specific movie.
Yeah, who do you
This
think?
part or this whole movie?
This whole movie.
Aragorn.
Aragorn kind
Aragorn. Yeah, he's got to be the
of...
MVP of the whole movie.
Yeah.
Saves him in Bree. Where would they have made it from Bree if it wasn't?
Oh,
for him?
true.
Yeah,
If we're talking
whole
about the whole
movie.
movie, it is Aragorn.
Yeah, he takes
'Cause
he
he
takes
saves
over
him
after
at
the
Bree,
mines.
Stabs a dude in the face, a wraith in the face. Yeah,
Saves. Yeah, Frodo gets stabbed after that. Helps. Yeah, it's got to be Aragorn.
It has to be
I agree.
Aragorn.
It'd be
MVP
cool to say
Aragorn.
Gandalf, but sorry, you kind of bailed on him like twice.
Yeah, come on, Gandalf.
True, Aragorn it is.
And-
Speaking of Aragorn, I think it's time to talk about the sexiest Aragorn
Already
in
said mine.
The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring.
Right when he comes around that corner after Frodo, he smiles at a gigantic. There's probably 100 Uruk-hai over there, and he just smiles at him.
Yeah,
When he's like,
sexist.
when he's
She got that picture up there.
for sure. I agree. I would say from that moment on to the full climax is just sexiest Aragorn. Maybe
We're not,
more
we're not talking about the whole movie, right? The second half. That
whole
we saw.
movie.
Oh, whole movie.
Like your favorite Aragorn moment from the
Well,
whole movie.
I already like him in Bree at the end when he was like
Smoking the pipe? Or?
when he's putting all the candles. He's like, I can be invisible, and I'm like, this
Do
guy's
you
so
think
cool.
that's the sexiest moment in
He
the
was
whole
so
movie?
cool.
It was
He
when
was so
It
cool.
was, but it wasn't as good as him smiling at a horde
True.
by himself.
True, that was very
I could agree with that. That little smirk when
Mm-hmm.
he puts his sword up, dude. I would agree.
Yeah, and he does it. By the way, he does it like a wraith too. He just like walks up and puts it like this. I was just like,
if I were one of the orcs, I'd be like, not today.
not today.
Are you kidding
We've
me,
seen
dude?
that
Look at
before.
how good looking this guy is. I don't want to fight him. I agree. Well, I think we can call that the sexiest moment for Aragorn in
Yeah.
this movie.
One of the orcs just turns around and runs. I haven't even had second.
And another
breakfast.
one turns around and just bends over in front of him.
But awesome, guys. That is part 2 of the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring extended edition. If you guys like listening to these reviews, remember to go on to facebook.com, find us under Velocity Entertainment. Same goes for YouTube and podcast services all over the world. Remember to write in with either movie suggestions, fun facts, tips, things you like from the movie, questions. We love answering all of that stuff on
Lurtz is the MVP.
Yeah, whatever. We love answering all of your questions and interacting with the audience. So if you're not a big Lord of the Rings person, wait for the next series, which, to be
But also,
decided.
if you're not a Lord of the Rings person, become one, because you'll just be a better person.
Yeah, true.
Overall.
Said Lord Denethor's pure.
Even in movies he's not in.
yeah.
Denethor was mentioned in this movie. MVP.
MVP. Most pure part.
So I've decided that the prize I think I'm going to give out at the end of this series is going to be that canvas picture of Middle Earth.
Oh, of the map of Middle
I'm going to
Earth.
get that special ordered and made.
Tune in, Daniel, next time.
So, in the middle of the two towers, I'll probably set up more ways to do it. An actual send me an email giving me your name so I can enter you into the drawing or something. Something along those lines. Subscribe and then send me a private message.
I'm gonna send you like 20 emails because I want a map of Middle Earth.
But I'll have more details on that come the two towers, so that everybody will have plenty of time for Return of the King to get entered for a chance to win.
Yeet.
Again, guys, thanks for listening. This is Velocity Movies in Review, not to be confused with the other podcast, but check us out. Hopefully next week, I think we should start to be able to get back into a regular flow now that the holidays are kind of over and we are into a new year. So let's get it started off right with some Two Towers Part 2. Until Monday, we will leave you guys
True.
smoking tobacco.
Yeah. How dare they show kids that?
But we will see you guys on Monday with normal Velocity Entertainment episodes. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.
Stay classy, Westeros.
Stole my line.
Still Tanner's on.